Sringeri Vidya Bharati Foundation and Ontario Konkani Association. At this point, I'd like to request Param Bhatt, the Board of Trustee Vice President, to bring the message from SVBF. Param.
Thank you, Sadanand-ji. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Sringeri Vidya Bharati Foundation, Canada, it is my pleasure to welcome our respected speakers today and all of you for this very informative session. We Indians in Canada have been talking about setting up a seniors living center here in Toronto for as long as I can remember. That is almost more than 30 years. But nothing concrete has come up so far. With the help of and the expertise of our speakers today, I think we have an opportunity to move forward. I thank Mahesh ji, Krishnamurti ji, and Sandeep ji for taking the time to share their expertise with us today. I also thank Sadanand Mankikar and OCA, the Konkani Association, for taking a lead in organizing this seminar. I hope we members of SVBF community and all Indo-Canadians have an opportunity to come together and build a future for a happy living of our seniors. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you, Paramji. At this point, it's a great pleasure in presenting to you the President of Ontario Konkani Association, Mr. Vivek Nair.
Thank you, Sadanand. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We all know there's a growing need for a place for seniors of South Asian origin who would prefer to spend their senior years in an ethnic atmosphere. Having worked with many seniors in a long-term care home for several years, I can tell you, besides many other issues, one of the major aspects is food. The food served there is very good indeed by any standards, but it caters more to people of Western origin. I know how a few ethnic residents miss the food that they have been used to when they lived in their own homes. There was this lady from Calcutta who frequently talked to me, knowing that I am also of Asian origin, and asked me a couple of times if I could get her chapatis from outside. Sadly, I had to decline because I was not aware of her dietary restrictions. Having said that, the idea of having a home for seniors of South Asian origin has evoked a lot of interest in our community, as evidenced by the number of registrations for today's event. In fact, we received over 50 entries within 2 hours of the opening of the registration. I'm sure you're all eagerly waiting to hear from our speakers today about their exciting projects. However, please note that the organizers and volunteers of today's event do not endorse or recommend the projects that are being presented. Now, before I hand over to Sadanand, a reminder to all members of the upcoming Oka Navratri event on October the 16th. Registrations are open, so please do register for this virtual event. We promise to make it fun and interactive. Up next, we have Sadanand Mankikar of the Oka Seniors Forum. If not now, when? Take it away, Sadanand.
Thank you, Vivek. Just before I make my presentation, I'd like to just cover a couple of housekeeping information. Number one, we would really appreciate all of you, other than the speakers when it is needed, keep muted, so we won't have any sort of background noise, etc. Number two, if you have any questions, please continue to post them on chat. We will try our level best to take the questions after the featured presentations. Number three, there is a slight change in our program today. I'm very pleased to let you know that we have a third speaker, even though we had mentioned that we have 3 presentations, including mine. Mahesh Nileshwar has indicated that he would like to share some of his thoughts. So once I finish my presentation, I will introduce you to Mahesh. After Mahesh's presentation, we will have a presentation by Raghu Krishnamurthy, followed by Sandeep Dupal. So before we start the other featured presentation, what I'd like to do is cover some or share some facts and stats that will set the stage. Okay, can everybody see my
Yes.
slides?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to give some of the facts that I have gone through over the last number of years. This is a general information. For example, the Canadian population is aging. And not only that, it is aging at a very fast rate. This is true for the Southeast Asian population. We seem to be growing much faster even. If you really go back in the history, those who arrived in Canada in 19 they are already turning into their 70s, 80s, and they'll be staying with us. They could be also, if anybody has unmuted, could you please mute yourself? Many of our parents who have come to live with us, they would be definitely in their 80s and 90s. So just a quick look at the Canadian changing demographics. In the last 4 years, believe it or not, from 2016 to 2020, under 14 age group has gone down by 0.4%, whereas over 65 has gained 1.6%. And in the last 15 years, the 85 to 99 age group has increased by, believe it or not, 90%. That is about 5 to 6% each year. It has been projected that the seniors population could reach over 1/5 by 2025, and it can go up to 1/4 by 2059. However, the 0 to 14 group will still remain anywhere from 15 to 16, which means red flag is 15 to 64 group will continue to shrink. Just an example, the Centenarians, in 2001, there were only 3,825 Canadians over the age of 100. In 2020, that has gone over 11,500, which is nearly tripled. So basically what happens is, as we age, in addition to comfortable accommodation, familiar food, we look for assistance in daily chores, assistance in personal care, transportation, mostly essential, but sometimes even non-essential, and companionship. The seniors or retirement residences catering to general public, you know what I mean, do not seem to satisfy the needs of our seniors, mainly because our food habits, our cultural diversity, even going to these places, we have this loneliness, feeling left out, and also on the side, cost of unwanted, unused amenities, because there are so many things that are provided which we don't use. So what are our options? We do have some options: continue to live in the current house and make arrangement for the nannies or maid, share house with a few like-minded seniors and make similar arrangements, or try to live in the same neighborhood with similar facilities. Also, we could live in the condo building, same building, and try to make arrangements for the catering and other services. Or we can move to the seniors' residences, which I mentioned earlier, and the request for the specific needs. But let me tell you that we have tried to go through some of these seniors' residences and asked whether if we have critical mass in their facilities, will they make arrangements for our food? But they hesitate to do that for good reasons, because they don't want to upset the other residents. But when all these things seem to fully satisfy, naturally, everyone keep asking, do we have our own retirement seniors community? And if not, why not? So why don't we have our seniors residents which can cater to the needs of our seniors? Once again, it's the same thing. We don't want to move away from where we are. We want to live with closer to the children. Our food habits, even if people from India come together, still we have that food habits are quite different. Again, that non-vegetarian against vegetarian, etc. Cultural diversities, religious band, loneliness. Naturally, when we go to, regardless of who runs these facilities, we always keep that feeling, that abandonment, loneliness. And recently, when someone mentioned to me about the stigma, either the children will feel, how can I let my parents go away when I'm so close? Or the parents feel, how can I tell my friends that even though my children are here, I'm moving to the seniors home? Even though it is diminishing, but still that stigma is there. There is definitely fear of unknown. What will happen if I sell my house and go to this place? How am I be guaranteed with these services till I pass away? Lack of confidence, lack of trust. Yes, these people have started this project. How can I trust them? Again, it's not for lack of trying that we don't have the retirement houses or communities of our own. Since 80s and 90s, as Paramji has said, many have tried to build ethnic-friendly seniors communities. For the reasons I mentioned earlier, we seem to have failed. However, we are fortunate that even now, a number of individuals and organizations are still trying. Since last webinar in July on home care and long-term care, I had a number of calls asking me the same questions. Do we have our own residents, seniors residences? I try to communicate as many community leaders as possible. And as a result of it, today we have 3 seniors resident project owners, or those who are working with them, with us. And at this point, it gives me a great pleasure in presenting to you the first speaker, Mahesh Nileshwar, to talk about his project Nirvana. Mahesh.
Morning, everybody. Thank you, Sadanand ma'am. You have basically answered a few of the things that I was going to present, but I'm just trying to. So I wasn't planning to present, as Sadanand ma'am said, but after the previous senior program, there were a lot of questions, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, some of them which I did not answer because I did not have an answer. So I've asked for 5 minutes, so I'll take 5 minutes. So as you all know, our project is called Nirvana. Live it, attain it. So we always, since we are born, we always want Nirvana. So hopefully our project will help you get there. Okay. So I'll give you a brief history of Nirvana. I have, as Sadanand ma'am said, we've been working on for many years. I've investigated sites at Niagara Falls. It fell apart because of the distance. As Sadanand ma'am said, kids are in Toronto, parents don't want to be in Niagara Falls. Belleville, same story. Waterdown, we had a complex that we were looking at, but it has 95% occupation. So we want our own retirement home, not something that we can take over and then fill it up with our people, which would take a long time. GTA is very expensive, as you know. So what has been happening with Nirvana is we've been talking to a builder since October 2018. He has a project, but he hasn't been able to make up his mind if he wants to run it or give it to us. So initially he wanted to give it to us. So we started negotiating, and then suddenly he said, no, we want to run it. Now he's back with us saying, we want to give it to you. So hopefully, please pray for us that we will be able to get this project through. This is very interesting only because it is in Midtown. So home is where the heart is, and the heart of your new home will be your suite. So the first project we plan to call it Guru Kripa, and it will have a combination of single and 2-bedroom units. We might change that based on when the building will be available to us, and with the discussion with the community members and the builder, if you want to change the combination to bachelor units, single units, or 2-bedroom units. So we have a total of 95 units that we are negotiating. That's the building, how it is going to look. And it's going to be in Midtown Toronto. And there will be no parking, as it is expensive, as I told previously, to have a parking spot in Midtown Toronto. And it is connected by TTC. So you don't need to have a car. And then with Uber and Lyft and other services, you can always make use of them. Some of the features that we are discussing, South Asian menu for sure, because we have a, on the ground floor, we have a restaurant space, which the interior entrance will be for our residents, and the external entrance will be for a restaurant operator. So that's how we want to make it. It'll have a pharmacy and a clinic, grocery store, no smoking, air conditioning, heating, elevators, laundry, coin operated, no storage facility, because again, real estate is very expensive, wheelchair accessible, no balconies, lounge, no pets. I have a meeting with the builder on October 12th, and I hope you all pray for us that we get through, and we'll be able to sign something with the builder. So hopefully I'll have some news after October 12th, which I will probably share it with Sadanand Ma'am, and Sadanand Ma'am can share it with the community. Hopefully it will be a positive news. And also I want to warn you, because we have only 95 units, there might be a quick turnaround to put down some kind of down payment. So you might all want to keep your purse strings open as soon as we announce. That's all I have for now. I will be available for question and answer at the end of the seminar. So please keep your questions ready. I won't be in the meeting for the next few minutes, but as it is being recorded, I'll watch it later. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you, Mahesh. Excellent news, positive news. We will be waiting for the progress and we will be in touch.
Thank you,
For the listeners, once again, if you have any questions, please post them on the chat box and we'll try to answer them. Also, I'm sure that you will receive the recording, which will also include the contact information for the presenters. So there shouldn't be any problem. Our next presenter is Raghu Krishnamurthy from Red Pine Project. I need to give a little bit of background, if Raghu, you don't mind. The OCA started the Seniors Forum in 2016, and through the brainstorming session and focus group, we identified 9 different projects, and the retirement community seniors retirement community was one of them. As soon as Raghu saw our newsletter, he gave me a call. He said some of his like-minded friends are also looking into something. Do you mind we get together and start working on it? And it was like a great news for me. Actually, even though we had planned, we didn't know where to go. But soon we had 8 like-minded families, 3 from Maharashtra and 3 other groups from all over India. And we continued to meet on a regular basis for nearly 2 years, met the consultants, tried to meet developers, also visited a number of seniors homes. And I know the group has been working very hard, even though there is a change in the composition since 2019. Just like the rest of you, I am also very eager to hear what progress Redcom has. Raghu, please.
Thank you, Sadanand. Thank you, Anita, Vivek, for allowing us to share this morning with the rest of the people. I hope my audio is clear. So my name is Raghu, and I only represent a bunch of like-minded people that have been talking about this retirement community for South Asians. So it's a long journey, and much that we would have liked to have some quick hits or progress to share. What I'm going to do today is basically tell you what we have achieved so far, and then share with you what the new next direction is. Okay, so whether we call it Nirvana, whether we call it any other name, it's not important. What is important is that it is a change to what we currently have. Hence, I've titled this presentation New Horizons and New Beginnings. So as you see in any other Bollywood movie, there's always a disclaimer, right? So this is a disclaimer not because we are afraid to share with you what we know, but just to make sure that people understand in the context of what we are presenting. So the agenda basically is the why, the what, the how, the when, and I'll open it up for Q&A. The why is very simple. Sadanand has already highlighted, and every speaker that you would have heard for the last 40 years would have highlighted that there is a demand for an all-inclusive retirement option for South Asian community. There are lots of these kind of projects available in and around the GTA. Some are rental models like Chartwell, Amica, Extendicare, and some are ownership models, though most of them are targeted to the Caucasian or ethnic, Polish or Greek or Jewish communities. So you'd have to ask, we are the largest visible minority, how come we have nothing? And it came as a surprise and a shock to me when I started looking at this a few years ago, that it's not, as Sadanand want of desire to do things. It is just that we could not get our heads around it, and maybe we were biting too big of a apple to get a good shot at success. So it is not a new idea. Let me assure you that this has been done the rounds, and in India and in the US, they are actually very successful groups that have come together and put together this kind of a project. So much so, my father actually lives in a retirement home in Chennai. 10 years ago, if we had asked him, he would have probably, laughed at the idea that he should move to a retirement home. But now it is accepted. The stigma is slowly vanishing because the practical reality is people do need that companionship. They do need the care. Their children may love them, but end of the day, they are not in a position to take care of them. But the theme is very simple. All of us on this call for sure want to spend our next 25, 30 years with like-minded people in a good environment who share similar values, cultural background. And as Sadanand said, we want to have the same kind of things that we're used to, starting with food. Right? So that's a why of it. So what is it that I am going to share with you today? I'm so happy that Mahesh has highlighted his project that is probably at a cusp of, making it happen. But the project we are working on is a multi-phase home plus services community, right? So I use the word home plus services because it is not a real estate proposition. The key feature is the services. And based on the demographic needs and all the surveys we have done, there is a huge need front end for independent living and assisted living. LTC, which is long-term care, is a highly regulated model in Ontario, and that is out of scope. So really, we are focused only on things that are more immediate in nature for the demographic of between 65 and 85. So independent living and assisted living. The big change that we have been looking at other models is ours is going to be an ownership model. So if you think about it, we are all wired to own things. Long term, we are not wired to rent things. So this model will allow us to own that piece of real estate. If you kind of think of it, you're going to live in a community where there are people who also own. And from an estate planning standpoint, from a transition of money to your next generation, you can easily pass this asset to the next generation, which is what most of us want to do. It is a not-for-profit, so it is going to be resident-driven. It is going to be owned by the people who live there, and there's going to be 100% transparency because there is no room for anything but a clear path forward of not-for-profit. Residents will decide the quality of services. Mahesh put in his project some of the services. They're all good and much needed. So the project we are going to describe to you in the next slide has got slight variations. Hopefully they're different. but they can be scaled, right? So if we start with the project phase 1, they can be scaled to say 60, 70 people. If it is successful and we learn from that, we can move to the next phase and we can scale it differently. And like I said, we can learn from all the projects that have happened before us, both in India and in the US. So how are we going to do that? So Sadanand mentioned that we have been working as a group. A lot of people have come in, a lot of people have gone out. Right now, we have a core group of about 18 to 20 people who have been at this for the last 2+ years. And we have been understanding, we talked to various community groups, we made several presentations, done surveys to identify what the options are, what the opportunities are, and balance the wish list, because we all have a wish list of things that we want to have, but then we have to figure out the practical solutions. Not everything that is exactly in your wish list can be achieved unless you're willing to pay a disproportionate amount of money. And we have to then zero in on an optimal solution, which we think we have. We identified many developers, but then we had to narrow down to the ones that are keen to work with us and those who also have some sort of a resume of having done projects like this. And then we have zeroed in on one most likely candidate right now. So the project highlights I'm going to share with you in a second. But where we stand right now is that this project has been identified to be in the city of Milton. So most of the catchment area of people that we surveyed was in Brampton, Mississauga, and most people are familiar with Milton. So logistically, Milton is an acceptable location. It is on a street which is very central. It's Steeles and Martin. That is the physical address of the property that we have identified. The developer is in the process of finalizing the ownership of the property because it is jointly owned. So that is a structure standing there. But the land has been acquired partially with other partners. But the developer that we are talking to is in the process of finalizing the ownership of the property. COVID has not helped us at all in terms of pushing everything, delaying everything by several months. So right now we are at a point where we are in intense negotiation to find out if this is going to take off in the 4th quarter. So that is the sort of broad idea of the project that I'm giving you. It's going to be about 65 units. It's going to be a mid-rise building. It's going to have underground parking. Ground floor will have all services. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 will have the actual units. It'll be a combination of 1 bedroom plus den, and 2 bedroom and 2 bedroom plus den. The higher floors naturally will have a much better view of the Niagara Escarpment. But unless you have an inverted pyramid, it's impossible for everybody to get on the top floor facing the escarpment, right? So we have to really understand what the actual physical location is going to look at. So we're going to work with other people who have done this before and then come to something that is acceptable to the owners of this project. So when is it going to happen? That's a $1 million question. Because of COVID, everything is pushed back, but I'm giving you a sort of a broad brush data point. So the developer we are talking to, we should be in a position to finalize letter of understanding by 31st of December, so 4th quarter. If we are all in agreement, we have to then go through the pre-planning and the legal stuff the following quarters. And then we have to start really asking people, are you serious? If you're serious, then we need to align our resources, finalize all the stakeholders, and that should get us into middle of 2022. So if everything is on a go and everything happens to the timeline I am outlining, and some of the people who are on this call may be thinking, hey, but you told us that all this is going to be done by September 2021. Yes, that was absolutely what we had hoped for and believed in. But the COVID situation has just complicated things, both in terms of getting the city of Milton's approval, the land acquisition happening. Just this whole process has delayed it. The good news is nobody's in a tearing hurry to get into this kind of a property next week or next month. These projects do take time. And the original deadline we had shared was December 2024. So we still might be able to get it done much before that project timeline. But if somebody was to put a gun to my head today and say, will it happen? Yes, the chances are December 2024 is highly probable based on this timeline. Right. So really that's all in terms of the project content. I will be more than happy to answer. So the next steps that we want to do is we want to continue discussion with the current developer that we have with the hope of moving ahead. Again, the key is his actually getting 100% ownership of the land of this property that we have identified. If things don't work to that plan, we are also concurrently developing plan B and plan C because we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket. So, that is the next 90 days, that is our key target. And again, using a forum like this one, we're going to learn and share and collaborate with other project groups, whether it is with Sandeep's or Mahesh's, because end of the day, all of us want the same thing. We want a ethnic friendly community of like-minded people sharing the same values and having to live there, enjoy the next 25, 30 years, right? So really that is the contact details I've given you in case somebody is interested to join this journey and find out some more. This gta.com@gmail.com is the address that you can write us. And that's pretty much my presentation. I want to leave time for any questions or anybody's comments.
Thank you, Raghu.
Most welcome.
Excellent presentation. And as I said, there is still hope, and hopefully it will come through very soon. With that, we will move on to our next presentation. As I mentioned to you, since our last webinar on long-term care, etc., I try to contact a number of people, and one of my good friends, Kamal Bharadwaj, told me that he knows some friend who is working on this project and introduced me to Sandeep Dupal. And I'm sure that we have a very interesting news from Sandeep. Please take over.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Again, my name is Sandeep. I've been working on this project for the last 1 year. Me and my partner, basically had a vision. My vision was about 10 years ago when I was put through a very sad situation with my father. And as a lot of the people in this organization is talking about, there's nothing around for South Asian. And I just started doing a lot of research in about 2011, 12. And we have purchased a piece of land back then to do a retirement community focus on our South Asian. But unfortunately, the city of Brampton at that time was not allowing zoning to go through. Finally, we came up with a piece of land in Brampton. We purchased it about 4 years ago. And we are in the process of getting the zoning completed. Site plan application has gone in. We are in the process today, right now, basically to get the permit drawings done. So the permit drawings are actually in as well. Can everybody see my screen? Yes, okay. So basically, the model that we're coming up with is a little bit different. It's like Amica, which is a retirement community focused on seniors. And I basically put down here a lot of thoughts into our visions, our values. We've done a lot of research. And some of the presentation talks about is, in our culture, parents live with children. Why would they want to move out? There's been a lot of conversations been going back and forth with the community that I've been involved with. Is there is a big need for this, but goes back to trust. How do we win the trust of our community seniors to have them live with us? So basically, the name that we came up with is Jivan Navas Retirement Village.
Sandeep, just one sec. It seems that somebody has unmuted. It's disturbing the rest of the people. Can all of you please mute? Sorry, Sandeepji, for interfering.
No problem. No problem. So as you can see, the logo there, it's a symbol of India in some ways. We wanted to come across, what is Jivan Navas? Jivan Navas is about life. It's about giving life in a nice home. Because our community members have lived with their children or lived with somebody else, and at the end of the day, they've got comfort. Sorry, just okay, there we go.
Sorry, if I may interrupt, Sandeep, can you do a slideshow?
Sure.
Thank you.
I thought it was on a slideshow, no?
No, it's not full screen.
Oh, it's showing up mine is full screen.
Can you press F5?
F5. Yeah, no, it's not working here. It's showing on
Can
my.
you see a button at the bottom next to the comments? The fourth one, next to the minus symbol. Exactly, yeah.
Is it okay now?
No, I think you're not sharing the screen. You might be seeing the screen full slideshow, but you might be sharing the screen that is your file. So you might want to start share screen again and look at the one that is having the slideshow. Thank you. There we go.
Yes.
You have to unmute, Sandeep.
Again, our vision again in Jivan Avaz is to really zest for life. What does that mean? Zest for life really talks about having the residents, having our community really live in peace, have a lot of activities. We talk about what are the seniors really looking for. There's a lot of the slides in the past talked about they're looking for cuisine, which is to their local flavors. They're talking about activities to keep them engaged, to keep their mind going. And our community here, which we're working on, it will have all of these things. Okay, so basically the agenda that I put down here is to really talk about our visions and values, our value proposition. What is the brand story that I came up with for Jivan Avaz? I want to talk about Jivan Avaz itself, and I want to talk about the amenities and some of the activities that we're going to be doing here. I want to talk about the cuisine, the wellness plan, lifestyle living, type of residence, and also financials. We are hoping that we're going to have this community opened. We're going to be digging shovel. Our target is to dig shovel in about 2 months, and construction will take about 18 to 20 months. Our hopes is we should be open the middle of 2023. Again, what's our mission? Is to provide an environment for new independence, wellness, community companionship. That's our vision in terms of getting that out there to our community. Some of our values that we're going to be enriching, happiness. We talk about seniors need to be very happy. They need to enjoy their lives rather than being always being, not having the proper companionship. Empowerment. We will empower our residents of independence. Focus on the unique cultural needs. Confidence. We want to build confidence. We want to build trust. We also want to celebrate as a community. Okay. Our value proposition is to really transform the retirement living for the South Asian, a state-of-the-art facility and professional accommodation to help them live their golden years to the fullest. That's our value proposition. Our brand story. How do we come up with this? It basically came through, it talks about, having a place where I'm not tied down to having meals at a certain time. Our kitchen will be open from 7 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. So you can eat whenever you want to eat. It's an a la carte menu. You'll have religious workshops. We'll have in our basement, we will have like a temple type of thing. Depending on the culture, every day will become a different worship place. We will have routine health checkups, evening walks around our property, which will be quite lighted. And we're also going to have security system, which all the seniors will get a tag. For example, that tag will be hooked up to our central system. If something happens outside, we will be notified right away so we can get to the seniors. We want every senior to feel peace of mind. We want them to be very happy there. Again, our positioning is to be the premium retirement lifestyle resident. That's our basically our position. We want to be perceived as a first South Asian retirement community in Canada, which will be a premium retirement. Okay, now what is Jeevan Awas? Okay, this is the rendering of our Jeevan Awas. As you can see, there are 3 buildings. There are going to be 2 buildings which will be focused on memory care. One floor will have 16 rooms for memory care. We'll have 36 rooms for assisted living and 101 independent living. We will also have, as you can see, there's one building, the first building, which is a 2-story high building. That will be, like we call it, like a medical auxiliary building. You'll have a doctor there, you'll have a dentist there, you'll have a physiotherapist there. You'll have all the services that you actually need will be there, pharmacy included, and also a convenience store if people want to pick up some milk for their rooms. The 2 buildings will have different activities in the basement, as we talked about having a proper aqua fitness swimming pool. So to get proper exercising, yoga, all those single activities will be there. About Jeevan, we are located on Gorway. Our address is 9664 Gorway, okay, in Brampton. You'll have access to main streets, highways are very close, and shopping. We will have a shuttle bus that will be going back and forth to Brampton City Center, to Niagara Falls. We're going to do a different lot of tours. As I talked about, we will have 3 separate buildings, which will consist of independent and assisted living, memory care, and also respite stays, which are really about, we're going to have about 5 rooms, which we will rent on a, for example, the seniors that are living there, they might have visitors from India. They might have their grandkids. They might want to stay in here with them, with the grandparents. So we'll rent out those rooms. We'll have 5 rooms that will be fully furnished, which will be rentable. Premium amenities. We talked about the medical and convenience. All the staff will be speaking the local language. That's a must, because we want to be, language is a barrier sometimes. A lot of people don't understand English. Okay, we are partnered up with Origin Active Lifestyle Communities. Origin is a company that we have managed, will be managed by them. They've been around for 30 years in Canada, and actually not just in Canada, but around the globe. And they have been working in the senior community for over 30 years. So Neil Prashad, who is the president and the CEO of that organization, is working with us on this project. Okay, what our amenities and activities will be? Okay. We will have a library with computers. We will have something called My Rosoi Kitchen in the basement where, for example, somebody doesn't want to eat in the restaurant, which will be an a la carte menu. They will want to maybe cook for themselves. We will be more than happy to provide them with the kitchen, which is safe in the basement. And they just have to ask for a grocery list. We will provide them with a grocery list and they cook a meal for themselves. Or if they want to have a party for their family, if they could cook a meal for their family or their friends. So it'll be a lot of cook-a-thons. Wi-Fi in all social spaces, home theater for movie nights. We will have activities and a party room. We will also be doing local community. We're working with the local healthcare facilities like the Brampton Hospital, like Etobicoke General Hospital. We will be working with them. Also, we're working with a lot of senior charities in Brampton and Toronto area, which having day programs for seniors. For example, if they don't want to move in here full time, they just want to come Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 to meet with friends. We'll have activities so they can, it's like a daycare type of a program. We'll have a fitness center with a personalized group programs. Religious room I talked about. Private dining rooms. We'll have 2 private dining rooms where if you want to have a private room, rent it out for your family to come and eat there. Okay. We talked about the swimming pool, concierge 24 hours, 24-hour emergency response system as well. We will have a dedicated transportation for scheduled for shopping and excursions, which I mentioned earlier. We will have in-suite professional care and support. There'll be nurses on staff. There will be also PSW workers as well. Hair salon, spa, pharmacy, medical, dental office. All these activities will be on site. And you'll have a lot of natural beauty with outdoor dining and activities. Cuisine. I'm actually bringing certified chefs from India. We're bringing 2 chefs who are executive, top-notch executive chef from the Taj hotels. One of the things I learned in India when I was working with another organization, which I was in India for 4 years, is cuisine is different in every part of India. You know, you talk about south, north, east, west, everybody has a different flavor. Everybody has to, do different little things. And we're going to be trying to cater that in here as well. So our cooking will be done differently. We're going to have a separate kitchen for the vegetarian, non-veg will be separate, and Jain cooking will be separate as well. As I talked about, flexible dining residence where you can enjoy and you get what you want on our daily menu. Dedicated dining room with lounges for independent living, assisted living, and memory care. So where you have assisted living and memory care will have its own dining room. Assisted living will have their own dining room as well. Patio overlooking the gardens. You'll have a lot of greenery. I mean, if you love, this site is just trees all over. It gives it feel like it's very peaceful. All day bistro with fresh food and baked goods. Dining rooms will be available for special occasions. We talked about daily chef's menu, a la carte, special occasions as well. We will also accommodate dietary requirements. We will make a special meal plan for all seniors because some seniors will be having, the doctors will prescribe certain things. We will actually accommodate those. We will also have a bar, cash bar in the evening, if in case somebody just wants to watch a sporting event, have a beer, something like that. For each resident, we were going to develop a personalized wellness plan. The plan will be based on social, how much they can actually do physically, what care do they need, what support they will require. If their lifestyle changes, we will adopt to meet them as well. So residents don't have to worry about moving out. Our philosophy is aging in place. Aging in place is very, very important right now because we don't want the seniors to come in here, maybe a year, they have to move out. We want them to stay here. That's why we're creating independent, assisted, and memory care floors. Okay. Nurse and wellness team will be available 24, 7 days a week. We will provide, everything will be private for each of the residents. Okay. Personalized pharmacy services. We will deliver all the medications to the residents. They don't have to worry about leaving if they don't want to go outside. Okay. Visits from our local healthcare professionals. So independent living, residents can enjoy independent living, secured in a knowledge that they will be taken care of with their needs. Our premium amenities will have a lot of different activities for all our residents to keep active. They need to be active with computers, with chess game, outdoors as well. We're going to have tennis courts as well in case somebody wants to play badminton, tennis, whatever. Okay. It's up to you as an individual how much you want to participate or how much you don't want to participate. But our objective is to get everybody involved. Assisted living. This is where sometimes, it depends on the level of support somebody might require. It just might be just bathing or just might be just giving them medication on a daily basis, but we will do it a unique plan for each individual. I talked about this earlier where, for example, respite stays. We can actually have seniors or their members stay in a fully furnished apartment. The stay will include 3 meals a day, weekly housekeeping and linen laundry. They can also enjoy the amenities, and they will also have emergency and also this flexible care if required. Memory care. Should residents need to change, we have a dedicated floor with 16 suites, separate dining room. The floor is 100% secure. Seniors cannot leave that floor. Memory care is very, very, it's a very sensitive topic. We're still debating, should we do it or not do it? But we are 100% in it right now. Our design, our plans include memory care for now. We'll also have a where actually people can, with memory care, people tend to forget a lot of things. So we're going to be looking at color coding, with healing gardens separate from the outside, so they don't even have to go outside. So they can, like with a Buddha statue, things like that. Again, the financial, this is a rental model. We are not selling our units. This is like Emeka, like Chartwells, those type of programs where, at the end of the day, we will show seniors how to do this. For independent living, studios will range from 300 square feet up to 1,000 square feet. So studio is 300 to 400, will be roughly $3,200 to $3,500. The highest will be about $6,000 for independent living. Assisted living, 300 square feet to 500 square feet is about $6,000 to $6,500 a month. Memory care is about $8,000 to $8,200 a month. And that includes weekly housekeeping, 3 meals daily, premium activities, 24-hour emergency response system. We will also have laundry rooms available in some of the suites. So they can, for example, these are mainly independent. There'll be in-suite laundry for them to do themselves if they want to do it, or if they want us to do it, we'll do it at a cost. Plus, there will be common laundry rooms available in some of the floors in each building. Ajiva Nawaz isn't the end, it's just the beginning. That's my presentation. If anybody has any questions, love to hear from them. But again, our target is to open this middle of 2023.
Thank you, Sandeep.
Yeah, there are some questions. There are a few questions that have come in. I'm going to start reading them out. For Sandeep, I think there was a question. What is memory care?
Memory care is when seniors start forgetting things. They can't remember. I mean, a lot of seniors will forget certain things at certain ages. So like, old timers, that's those type of things. Does that make sense? Memory loss.
Yes. Is Jeevan Niwas for profit as opposed to the other two projects?
Sorry, what was the question?
Is Jeevan Niwas a for-profit project versus the other two that were presented?
Ours is for profit. It's like Amica, Chartwells, those.
Okay.
It is for profit.
Okay, and then there's a question about, are the amenities pay as you go or included in monthly fees? I think Sandeep's presentation indicated that it's a monthly fee that covers everything.
Covers everything.
Okay, for Redcom, Raghu?
So the vision right now is we're going to de-link, because it's an ownership property, so there is a actual purchase of the real estate unit, right? So you're going to have to commit and buy your unit. And I think there was another question that popped up. So all these will have suite, will have some sort of a minimal kitchen arrangement. So if somebody doesn't want to eat in a common facility on a given afternoon, they can make their own upma or omelette or whatever they want to eat, right? So every suite will have a small kitchenette. But to answer your question, so there is a fixed cost, which will be for all the common amenities. So, utility for the building, property tax to be paid, the insurance, etc. So there is a fixed cost, which will be shared. And there is a pay-per-use cost, which is food, for example, we have to commit to a minimum number of meals. Otherwise, if somebody says, I don't want to eat today, I want to eat tomorrow, you can have a completely disconnected model. So there will be a fixed element where everybody will sign up for. And then if you want to get a physiotherapist in, or you want to have a massage, or you want to have your hair done, it's a pay-per-use model.
Okay. And Sandeep, in your model, do residents have the option of cooking for themselves?
All the suites will have a kitchenette, but if they want to cook a meal for themselves, we will have a kitchen in the basement, which is called My Rasoi, if they want to cook some special meals for themselves. But in-room suites basically is like a microwave, fridge, and if they bring their own coffee maker or tea, whatever they want.
Okay, just let me see here. There is one more question which I have to read out. Thank you for the excellent initiative and plan. 2 questions. The zoning notice seems to reference Chacon Retirement Village, Candev Con Limited. I was wondering what this affiliation is. Also, when you assess 16 out of 150 rooms as memory care, were you considering this facility would be a temporary location for locked memory care? I presume 24-hour nursing availability until another location is secured, or do you see longer-term memory care residents remaining? That would be for Sandeep.
So let me answer the question. So Chikan Retirement Village is our structure. So yeah, Jiva Navas is owned by Chikan Retirement Village. Okay, so we're going to be operating Jiva Navas under Chikan Retirement Village. So it's the same company. Okay, so the affiliation is the same. So the owner of that company is a builder who I am partnered up with. As it talks about, I think you said the question was when you have 16 memory care units, those 16 units will be locked. So that whole one floor where there are going to be 16 memory care units, nobody can get in and out of that area. It will be secured by key security system. Does that answer the question? And
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, we will have 24 hours. Nurses will be available 24 hours a day on site.
Sorry, I just want to clarify one thing. Thank you very much, by the way. I appreciate all the information. I just wanted to, when I was asking about the memory care, if it was longer term or not. So 16 is a relatively small number for the number of patients who might have dementia. I was just wondering if you intended this to be those residents who were in transit, needed to go somewhere with additional care, or were you considering those 16 units for people who would remain there for an extended period of time?
So you were cutting in and out, but just what I heard vaguely is basically the 16 rooms. We are going to be consistent with 16 rooms for sure to start off with. If we want to increase it, we will look at that option later on. But we're starting off with 16 based on the study that we've done with our feasibility study. We figured our numbers show us roughly about 15% of the seniors will require this service of the total population right now.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
When will bookings for Jivan Nivas open up?
So the booking for Jiva Navas will be, my target date is to do a groundbreaking ceremony, launch it in the media if everything goes well. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. End of this year, it will be our groundbreaking ceremony, and we will start selling the units. I want to start getting out to the community November, December this year, and really start taking orders when I start going into the community.
Okay. There was a question about language. I think you mentioned local language. Which language is that? Punjabi or?
No, we're going to have like flexible, like, depending on, there'll be Hindi for sure, because that's the national language of India. So Hindi will be there for sure, but depending on the residents, if we're going to feel that we're going to be there, where the residents, if they're from South India, so we're going to have people that can speak South Asian, Tamil as an example, or they might be able to speak different language, Hindi, Punjabi. It depends on the residents where the majority of the residents are from. But as I said, Hindi must be spoken by everybody, at least Hindi for sure, and English.
Hindi and English.
For sure.
Thank you. Since we do not own the apartments in Jivan Nivas, how does the rental work? How long will the lease be?
We will do, the plan right now is, the lease is up to the residents. It's a 1-year contract, 2-year contract, 5-year contract, but there'll be a termination clause as well in there.
Okay.
But I've done a working, a lot of, in our culture, I think Raghu was talking about this as well, because the other 2 projects are more about buying it. In our culture, people like to own things versus renting things. And the reason I came up with this, I was thinking about a timeshare model. I was thinking about, do I sell the units? And the reason I really wanted to stick to this rental model is because it becomes more costly for the seniors, especially if they're buying the units. I know Raghu must have done a lot more research, but the research that I've been able to do is to switch the ownership over and over, and that the room stays vacant for a long time, and I'm losing out on the potential revenues. And also there's a model where, if you're collecting Canada Pension Plan, so CPP, versus how much you're getting from CPP, how much you're going to be getting from your home that you own, maybe rent it out or whatever. It's a whole different model that we worked on to help seniors, educate the seniors on how this model could work for them.
Okay, thank you. This question I am going to direct to Raghu and Mahesh. Can you share the estimated cost of investment as well as approximate monthly outgoing once project gets completed?
Mahesh, you want to go first or shall I answer that?
You go ahead and then I will add.
Okay,
both
so
of your
I think it is a bit premature to start putting dollar signs and numbers and stuff like that because everything will depend on finalizing the location and what is the cost of ownership when we get to that point. So at today's meeting, the idea was not to give you hard dollars, which you can come back and say to me, hey, you told me it was X, how come it has gone up by X plus 20%? Because once we have finalized the negotiation with the developer, that is the first point we can actually, with some certainty, come up with a dollar amount as far as the ownership of the unit is concerned. So it's improper to give a number now because it's not going to make any sense. But what I can give you a general idea is if majority of the people who we surveyed typically are living in a home that is either fully paid off, right? So if you're looking at Mississauga, Brampton, if you look at it, we are all, for most part, living in a home which is high in equity. So the new proposition that we are moving into will hopefully be lower than the value of your own home where you're residing in. So arithmetically, it is going to make more sense that you're going to sell what you are currently living in, use the cash to buy another property. So you're going to move from maybe a 4-bedroom home to a 2-bedroom condo equivalent. So the cost is going to be different. Plus, Milton is slightly cheaper than Brampton and Mississauga, I'm told. So all our numbers point to that. So I know I'm not answering the question with the exact dollar amount, but I think that would be improper on my part to give you a dollar amount. As far as the monthly cost model is concerned, I've explained to you, we have a team that's working on what is the best combination. There will be a fixed element which has to be borne by all people. So if you have a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom based on your floor space, you will be paying a fixed element which will cover all the fixed cost. Then there will be a variable cost which will be based on the food plan that you choose or the kind of services that you want. But all told, it will be something that will be decided, fully transparent and agreed by the residents. It's not something that is mandated by me or any other member of the group.
Thank you, Raghu. Thank you, Sandeep. I just wanted to tell everyone there is, you compare it like if you want to buy a car. Do you want to lease it or do you want to buy it? So there is no good and bad. It all depends on what you can afford, what your long-term plans are. So Raghu's and my idea is something called as a life lease, where you would buy the unit and your monthly maintenance cost will be minimum. So like going into an apartment, you buy the apartment or condo, whatever it's called, and then you only pay $500 a month for maintenance. So that is the difference between, are you able to spend X amount of dollars monthly? If you're able to, then fine. Or you could buy, as Raghu was saying, you can downsize into one of our units and keep some money aside because today the values are very high. And you can also save some money and spend monthly minimum as you use your services or certain different plans. So that's the major difference between a life lease and a rental unit. And life lease is you own the unit, and on your passing, your kids will be able to sell off the unit and get the investment back. So our plan is if your kids sell it on their own, we don't ask for any fees. If you ask our assistants or our admin office to help you selling the unit, there will be a fee. So it is all dependent on you. Thank you.
Mahesh, there is a question. Where exactly is the location in Milton?
So this location is currently we are talking about is Steeles and Martin. So the physical address is 248-250 Martin Street, which is in Milton. So it's at the main intersection it's about 10 minutes walking from the conservation area, which is at the back of this property. So it is right between Ontario Street and Steeles on one end, and Martin is the other intersection.
Okay, those are the only questions. Any other questions? Please post them.
Post it or post it. Anita, if
Yeah.
considering that we have a little bit of time, if anybody wants to make any comments rather than putting in chat box, can it be done?
Sure. Yeah.
So what will be the procedure? You can just
Question for Sandeep.
Who's the leader? And raise participant.
You are muted.
I think there is a question which says, hi Mahesh, sorry I missed last part of your presentation. What was the location of your project? I cannot reveal the exact location of the project as we haven't signed any papers. So I can say it's midtown, somewhere on Avenue and between Avenue and Jane.
Srini, did you want to say something?
Yeah, Anita, the question is for Raghu. Raghu, you said there's an existing building. Is that existing building going to be totally demolished and rebuilt, or are you going to do a relaying out of the building?
No, the current property that is standing out there is unoccupied, and it's going to be toned down. And then we're going to have this mid-rise building, which is ground plus 4 being built. Again, this is all high-level information. I don't know at this point whether it's going to be north-facing, south-facing, east-facing. But end of the day, it is going to be raised, the existing property, and then rebuilt. Because the city of Milton has to approve all these measures. They all have to be code. City has to approve the codes. Everything has to be checked.
Thank you, Raghu. Thank you, Anita.
ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ ಕೇಳ್ತದೆ.
ಹೌದೌದು.
ಏನ್ ಪ್ರಿಯಾಂಗ್ರೆ
Alamuttu, our question ಕೇಳಿ. Unmute.
Okay. See, my question is to particularly to Raghu Krishnamurthy. Thank you for giving the opportunity. The question is, are you maintaining any list of interested people? If so, we would like to add our name to your list.
That is something absolutely you're welcome. Right now, like I said, the project is envisioning at this current state, we are envisioning a ground plus 4. So that's going to occupy 60 to 65 units. That is the current model. It's going to be a combination of 1 plus den plus 2 bedroom kind of combination. Ranges between 700 to 1200 square feet. That is the approximate first drawings that we have seen. And as far as the list of people is concerned, we currently have 40 plus people who have signed up. Basically word of mouth. We have basically not advertised this. We have basically not taken any financial commitment. Certainly we don't want to enter into any monetary agreement unless we are 200% satisfied that this is where we want to go. So the short answer to your question is yes. I have posted on my last slide gtaredcom@gmail.com. That is the email you can send if you're interested. There is no guarantee that we will proceed with the project in its existing state. We might have to make some changes depending upon the outcomes. But certainly we want to build this database of people who are interested in this particular model. If not, the 40 plus is currently where we are. And again, it's like anything else. If you are the 41st person, you're obviously going to not get the first shot at the corner apartment facing the escarpment, right? But the fact of the matter is, people are not coming here only for the view, they're coming for the services. So always have to bear in mind, it's not a real estate proposition. It is a companionship, it is being with like-minded people and not having to clean and cook and do all the other daily chores you've been doing for the last 45 years.
Thank you. I really appreciate the information. Certainly, I will send my information. You can add me to your database and you can keep me informed.
Thank you. In Sandeep's project, the fee indicated is per unit or per person? I believe it's per unit, but Sandeep.
It's per person. If there, for example, if there's a couple involved, then there'll be additional, top of my head, I can't remember what the additional fee will be.
Okay, so it's per person. The fees that you indicated is per person.
Per person, yes.
Okay.
If I can speak on behalf of Sandeep, and I may be overstepping. So generally what these kind of models have is that there is, for example, Sandeep's slide had, if you have 1,000 square feet, it's around $6,000. Just I'm throwing a rough number. But the second person typically only pays for the incremental cost, which means for the meals and all the other services. You don't pay double of 6,000. Am I correct, Sandeep?
You're 100% correct. It's roughly about $700-800 additional, roughly.
Okay, we have a request for all the speakers to put your contact info in the chat. You could do that, or we can share it after.
Yeah, and if I just wanted to make a comment, well, ask that question to all three of you too, that what, I know that your projects are at different level or different stages. How do you plan on sharing
Anita,
the
please mute
progress
yourself.
with
There's
the public in general? What are your plans? Sandeep, maybe you can start, and then Raghu and Mahesh.
So can you repeat that question? You were cutting in and out.
Yeah.
The question is, how are you going to publicize and promote your projects as it progresses?
Sure. So I've hired a marketing agency as we speak now to really help me get the outreach program started. So we are actually working on a campaign. We're working on 5 campaigns to promote this brand out there. And I will be personally visiting a lot of charities, a lot of worship places, healthcare facilities is one element of it. We're going to also be doing a lot of shows. So I have a whole marketing plan behind this to promote this brand and to get it filled before we open. So I've already hired a marketing agency to help me with that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, of course. Raghu?
So because it's a private offering, we are not throwing this open to on Facebook and telling everybody to join. It's going to be a limited issue. So only those people who are on our mailing list, and I have put at somebody's request, I've put our mailing address gta.com@gmail.com. Only those people who are on our list will get regular updates on progress. Then we will certainly extend these kind of info sessions. If we are invited by other people, we'll be more than happy. I think Sadanand remembers we've done one for the Maharashtrian community. We have done a presentation. We've done one for Oka. We've done for a few other communities. But right now we want to narrow our focus to just make sure that we don't overextend ourselves. So the first project that we want to do is going to be limited to 60-65 units. We already have 40 plus people who have shown interest and financial commitment. I mean, they basically know what the cost is going to be in the timeline. I think somebody was asking what is the timeline. So we have laid out what is the approximate timeline in terms of when the financial commitments will kick in. But for now, we are only limiting that conversation to the people who are part of the GTA Redcom community.
Thanks, Raghu. Mahesh?
Yeah, as you all know me or have known me for a while, the not-for-profit concept will be forefront of our project. And so what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to ask the builder, because if it's going to be a first South Asian project, then he's going to get a lot of publicity. So I might work with him to cut down my cost, and that cost can be, the cost saving can be given to all the residents. So we might limit our publicity to as much as possible. And as I said, there's a huge demand. So there is a possibility that units will be sold out very fast.
Thank you, Mahesh. Just one point I want to make again in relation to the communication of this particular information. we have recorded these presentations and will be sharing with my email group, which includes all those who had attended previous webinars and this webinar. The other thing is we are not going to share any of emails with the people who have different projects. However, if they send us the information, we will try our level best to share it with these email groups. And the people on the email group, if they want any information, they can send me the questions, or if you can send them directly to these three presenters, that will be great. I just want to try to facilitate communication between these projects as well as our listeners.
That's very helpful. And also that shows that OK and SVBF are independent of the projects. So that's very nice. Thank you, Sadanand.
Sadanandji, can you please ask Raghu to give his email ID? I think he has not put it in the chat.
Okay.
I believe I have it. But
can you put it in the chat? It will help us.
Yes, I've done that. It's gtaredcom@gmail.com. I have put it in the chat. Just scroll up a little bit. You should find it.
Also, when you get the recording, of course, it's a recording. The information will be there for all three of them. Are there any other questions, Anita?
No, I didn't see. Okay, this one just came in. Mahesh, what about the lack of parking facility? How will that be resolved?
Yeah, so the builder is planning a huge complex next door, and we are planning to see if we can get some parking space from there.
Please put yourself on mute.
Now you can speak. Hello, I have a question for Sandeep. Who is the builder, Sandeep?
The builder is my partner, English Prestige.
Sorry, Mahesh, can you repeat the parking question? Because there was some disturbance. The answer to the parking question, sorry.
No worries, no worries. There is a building that the builder is building. It's a multi-storied complex next door. So we are negotiating to see if we can get some parking spots. The reason I explained in my previous seminar was that when you have underground parking and it's seniors, your insurance will go up, plus our insurance will go up. So that is the reason why we decided to go ahead with that plan.
Okay, thank you. One question for Sandeep. Sandeep, are your prices all inclusive? Any extra charges?
It's all inclusive.
Can I have the email ID of Mr. Nilesh and his phone number, please?
I have posted it. I'll post it again.
Thank you.
It is mnileshw@gmail.com, and then I'll post my phone number too. I just see Bhaskaran Rajamani there. Is that from Deloitte?
Yes.
Why are you hiding, sir?
So I have the privilege of some of our key players on this call. So there is Bhaskaran is there, Rajan, at least on the screen I can see. So these are the big hitters for our group. They have been working relentlessly for the last 2+ years. So really there is a lot of bench strength in the project, but at the same time we are at the mercy of the developer right now. And COVID has not helped the situation, but we are hopeful that there is a clearing in the mist. Hopefully in the next 3 to 4 months, we will have some more clarity. And at that time, we'll be more than happy to communicate our program.
Okay, looks like we don't have any more questions.
Sorry, Lena has her hand up. Lena, do you have a question? Lena? No, the hand's gone down.
Is she unmuted? If there aren't any questions, what I'd like to do is once again ask Sandeep, Raghu, and Mahesh if they have any last comments as such. Anything you want to say, Sandeep?
I'd like to thank everybody for allowing me the opportunity to explain our project. I'm very excited about this project, actually. It's very passionate about it. And if anybody has any other questions or need any support, I'm here to support anybody on anything that they might have. So again, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Sandeep. Raghu?
Like I said, there is no one perfect model, right? So we all have to understand that everybody's needs are different. Everybody at a different life stage might have different requirements. What is good today might not necessarily be valid 2 years down the road. So I think we have to work in collaboration. So Sandeep's project has some merit, Mahesh's has some merit, ours has some merit. So we can combine forces and we can come together. I think we have a higher probability of success as opposed to each one doing their own thing. Because that's what I felt was happening for the last 30, 35 years. It's not because people are not wanting to do it. It's that as South Asians, we are guilty of not being able to work together. So I'm more than happy on behalf of our team. I've known Mahesh offline on several other occasions. We want to work together to come to the same conclusion. It's not like one project is far superior or because it is somebody else's, I have an ego that is going to stop me from sharing my information. Absolutely not. I can speak on behalf of my colleagues who are on the call and also part of our team. So anything and everything that works, we are party to it. We'll be more than happy to share whatever little we know.
I think I don't have to repeat anything that Raghu just said. So I think we have to work together and get to a stage where we can say we have something of our own. That's the first goal we all need to get to, because we don't have one. And as Raghu said, 30 years people have been talking, maybe more, but we haven't don't have any building that we can claim it is ours. So I think our goal should be that, and we all should work together, not just the three of us. Anybody else on the call has any idea or any recommendation, we are welcome. We are ready to listen to it, and we welcome you all to share your thoughts.
Okay, thank you all once again. I just in closing, what I'd like to say is, as we have known for the last so many years, there is a definite need, there is a definite interest in the seniors residence. It's just that seems to me that each one seems to have their own likings, dislikings, or requirements. We are hoping that with the critical mass that we have in our community, as I said earlier, those who came in 60s and 70s, they're in their 80s and 90s. The population at that time was estimated to be nearly 200,000 to 300,000 Southeast Asians. So they are all seniors. So this need and the demand will increase, if anything. So I just hope that with the hard work by people like Sandeep, Raghu, and Mahesh, and many more, one of these days we will have our first seniors residence. And when somebody asks our address, we are going to point out to these seniors residences. With that, I congratulate you three and wish you all the very best. And also the listeners, thank you very much for your interest. As you may have seen, we have at 1.99 families joining us, which is a good number. Also, I would like to thank the Ontario Konkani Association, the Executive Committee, as well as Sringeri Vidya Bharati Foundation, who has given me a support throughout. And we will be bringing you more webinars of this nature. So if I may say so, thank you. And till we Zoom again. Bye.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.